Tzu Chi works with 3 NGOs to distribute rice to 1,500 recovered Ebola patients in Sierra Leone. COVID-19 leads to increasing costs for caregivers, with many calling upon government to help. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Let's get started. In Sierra Leone, Ebola claimed nearly 4,000 lives, also exhausted the social, economic, and public health systems of the country. The Tzu Chi Foundation, along with 3 major NGOs, distributed rice to help 1,500 Ebola patients recover. Here's more.
At the other side of the earth, there is a country known as Sierra Leone, which is twice as large as Taiwan. In 2014, there was an Ebola outbreak that lasted for 18 months, and 4,000 people died. This year, 2020, is the 5th year for Tzu Chi to work with the 3 major local NGOs to distribute rice from Taiwan to the recovered patients who have been infected with Ebola in Freetown, which is the capital of Sierra Leone.
As a partner organization, we always believe, we get responsibility for taking care of any vulnerable group where we don't originally identify. And Ebola survivors, now one group where we don't show interest on. Even survivors, then they're gonna volunteers them and staff them when they work for the organization. Because we believe, we all get able to incorporate each other and make we all feel happy.
Since 2015, we thank the organization Tzu Chi Foundation, and in collaboration with Caritas, Lanli Foundation, Eli Foundation, for a very marvelous support, that they are actually given to Ebola survivors, and the support is very timely.
Now, one of the best organizations.
You are the best organization I ever met. We are happy, and we really appreciate to be able to receive this rice in rainy days. Tzu Chi and Cultural Freetown Foundation are different from other organizations. They do not only help us for a week, but continue to help us for a long time. We really appreciate it.
For 7 consecutive days, 1,500 people were able to receive rice and love from the country across the ocean.
To help the homeless in Osaka, Tzu Chi volunteers personally cooked vegetarian curry and prepared 220 portions for Airin House, a center for the homeless. Besides the residents at Airin House, Tzu Chi volunteers also personally delivered meals to those still living on the streets. Take a look.
Walking into the Airin House, a consultation center for the homeless, anyone can smell the delicious curry cooking up by the Tzu Chi volunteers. Carrots, mushroom, and fresh fruit are all part of the nutritional meal Tzu Chi volunteers have prepared to help feed the homeless today. To speed up packing the meal, Mr. Yamanaka, the director of the Airin House, has brought a special tool to help.
This time, we're not passing out plates for people to line up. We're passing out bento lunches, and to facilitate a faster process on our part, we purchased a stretch film wrapping machine.
Due to the pandemic in Japan, only 6 local area Tzu Chi volunteers were able to come. We were surprised when Mr. Yamanaka showed up with 10 of his workers to help.
The plate of curry hits the homeless in just the right spots.
I was glad to receive the curry you made. It was full of ingredients and I ate well.
The curry you made is very delicious. I quite enjoyed it.
Everyone was working hard together, but seeing them eat plate after plate was quite satisfying.
The volunteers also make sure to deliver the meal to those not staying at the house.
Due to Osaka's Western District's policies, people from outside of the district cannot stay at the house. Besides, they are limited in bed space, so there are about 40-some homeless friends still out on the streets. Therefore, Mr. Yamanaka took us to where they were and helped us deliver curry to these 40 homeless people.
Without a proper place to stay, receiving a plate of hot curry from Tzu Chi feels like the best encouragement they can receive.
Navajo and Hopi Families COVID-19 Relief Fund provides support for the elderly, single parents, and struggling families purchase groceries, water, and health supplies. Let's take a look at how they provided protective equipment to those in need in Arizona. Here's more.
And we're just going to load these probably on the side. We have masks in here too. So the donor that we have is providing 10 masks. So. This is a facility for the Pinyon Unified School District. But I just want to kind of give you a brief rundown of what items we have. This is from Navajo Hopi COVID Relief. What we feature, they order fresh items from Shamrock Distribution, and they directly deliver a truck here. So we have potatoes, we have vegetables, cabbage, zucchini, grapes. We have 7 communities. They're all surrounding communities. So we're the central distribution center, and then from here, we distribute out to each community depending on what they need. We also feature masks, gratefully donated by Tzu Chi Foundation. We're packing 10 per box, estimating 1 will be used per day for a period of 2 weeks before we get another food box out. One of the biggest needs we have out here is hand sanitizer, because about 30% of our families lack running water. So their ability to wash hands it's just not available.
Arizona was starting to be hit by the COVID-19 epidemic. I was shopping for myself as well as my mom, who takes care of my nieces. She lives on the Navajo Nation. They don't have running water or electricity. And so I couldn't find a lot of things that she needed. So I decided it was worthwhile to go ahead and start the GoFundMe. And by the 11 o'clock that evening, we'd raised $5,000. You know, $100,000 worth of food, that serves about 1,000 households. And each household is on average about 4 people per household. So we're serving about 4,000 people every week.
Pasta, dry goods, rice, and then, of course, our masks, which we gave to you earlier. There's about 10 in there. This is also for the Navajo Hopi COVID Relief. Oh. They hand sewn these masks, and then coffee and soup and beans. But that's just to give you an idea. And then we have bleach, which he's bringing over there.
This is my house. I live in a Hogan. The biggest challenge is probably water. We have no running water. We can't take showers daily like how everybody else. We have to limit our water supply and to last us at least a week. Some people around here, they charge for, you know, to buy, we had to buy masks. We don't have any masks. You guys giving us free masks, that is really helpful, yes.
We're one of the remote people. We're overlooked all the time. They just say, oh, well, you know, Pinyon and the rest of that community won't notice anything. And this is the first project that is so caring. Somebody out there in the world has compassion and love to give their hard-earned money. It's just the love for your people, the compassion you have. I think that's what this relief project has.
The COVID-19 epidemic led to a 10% increase in labor costs for hospital caregivers. This was due to the increased risk of working in hospitals during the epidemic, with some caregivers even taking a break for the sake of their own health. Many reported staffing shortages, and yet the number of patients did not increase, making many families unable to afford to hire a caregiver. This has led to new calls for national health insurance coverage to be expanded to covering the costs of caregivers. Take a look. Taking care of family members in the hospital can be difficult sometimes, causing many to lose sleep at night. Xiaofang's family did this for more than a month as father had a fever with pneumonia and suddenly needed to be hospitalized. Brothers and sisters urgently scheduled 24 hours a day care over 2 shifts.
We all have to take turns as everyone has to go to work, and not everyone is available 24 hours a day. So it's really not easy to arrange the schedule, as this kind of communication and coordination actually took a lot of work and skill.
I have found that there are a lot of people who have elders sent to the hospital have found themselves in turmoil at the beginning because someone has to accompany the sick person at the hospital. Either a family member or spouse, or one has to hire a caregiver to accompany them during the illness. If you're a worker and want to ask for leave, you must ask for leave, and some families can't ask for leave, so they have to hire a caregiver from Taiwan, which may cost about $60 a day, which is about $2,000 to $2,300 a month.
When the patient comes in and needs to be hospitalized and taken care of, the hospital will tell you engage a caregiver by yourself. If the economy is weak, this may be a big burden on the family. For example, if one earns about $1,000 a month, actually we all know people who get this kind of salary, but how can they spend $600 a month to hire a caregiver to take care of their family members?
A rotating schedule of family members to care for a sick family member can solve this urgent need for a caregiver. But in the event that some shifts can't be filled, one needs to find a temporary caregiver. The COVID-19 epidemic increased the risk of working in the hospital. It has been reported that the price of caregivers has increased, with the initial cost being about $70 for 24 hours, rising to $80, and special patients requiring rehabilitation and orthopedics rising to $90.
Now the price for caregivers is very chaotic, as now there are more patients and fewer caregivers. There should be a different prices for such cares, as this is a very big blind spot. I hope that in the future we can push for different levels of pay for different jobs. If the patients just need someone to accompany them, then the price should be a little cheaper. But if the caregiver is busy all day doing things for the patient, then the cost should be a little bit more expensive. Otherwise, it will be impossible for this patient to engage a caregiver.
The setup of Taiwan hospitals is that if a person is hospitalized, there must be a family member or a hired nurse. This is very special in the world, as the so-called full responsibility of care is left to the family. After Taiwanese people are hospitalized, the whole care actually includes the caring for the medical needs and looking after their body, such as work of bathing or preparing meals. This should actually be handled by the relevant professional staff in the hospital.
The current hospital nurse to patients ratio is about 1:15. For example, at the Taipei City Hospital, one nurse who has to take care of 15 patients. If they care for economically disadvantaged patient who cannot afford a caregiver and there's no family member accompany, the nurse has to help diaper changes and feeding as part of daily care.
Taiwan Association of Family Caregivers are urging that health insurance fees be appropriately adjusted so that caregivers can be included in the hospital system and the full responsibility of care can be reduced on family members and medical staff. Analyzing the current acute hospital bed shortage in Taiwan, there is an average occupancy rate of about 70%, or about 50,000 beds. If one caregiver is responsible for 4 patients, a 3-shift system is adopted. It is estimated that the annual salary is $15,000 and the annual national health insurance premiums need to be increased by $611 million, accounting for less than 3% of the $25.5 billion annual national health insurance expenditure. The public may increase insurance premiums by just a few cents each day.
Adding this cost to the health insurance is impossible to do right now, but we are reviewing relevant pilot projects and new ideas, which we are trying out and implementing.
However, nurses also worried that full responsibility for patient care will cause many to have misunderstandings and take their care for granted.
We have a caregiver who may be working on a patient and a family member who could be there evaluating and criticize their work, such as you can fasten a diaper here or over other prices orders.
The Ministry of Health and Welfare expects to expand plans related to patient care, but whether such costs will be included in the health insurance budget is being comprehensively evaluated. The Ministry of Health and Welfare will use data for patients and visitors during this wave of the epidemic and assess what percentage of the family members take care of themselves or hire self-care to assess future manpower needs. The Yongli Recycling Station in New Taipei City's Yonghe district is located on the first floor of an old apartment building, which Tzu Chi volunteers rented in 2004 to hold recyclables. It's now doing recycling 6.5 days a week, also hosting study groups and teaching others how to make vegetarian food. Here's more.
When I'm here doing recycling, I'm not focused on my pin. It's good to interact with others.
Most of these bodhisattvas are up there in age, and they are here each day with a heart of joy doing recycling. I feel so grateful there is a cultivation ground for them to do this. They can contribute to give value to their life.
In New Taipei City's Yonghe district, property is valuable, and on Yongli Road, there is a storefront that's just 66 square meters, but it's rented by Tzu Chi to do great things for society.
We will post the information in our group chat, letting them know there's recycling here at a certain time. After a while, people were used to the time, and even when we inform everyone there's not any recycling today, people still show up. Sorting recyclables has become a habit.
The habit the volunteers mentioned has been ongoing for 16 years now. In 2004, Tzu Chi volunteers sorted recyclables at Yonghe Junior High School routinely and also rented a small storefront to hold the recyclables. But later, the school stopped providing the space to Tzu Chi for sorting, and the storefront then became a full-time recycling station.
At the other location, there were more people, but here the space is limited. However, I feel it's better. Now anyone who has time will come show up and participate. I think it's more favorable than the larger recycling event at the school.
As the space is limited, Yongli Recycling Station is open each day with about 30 volunteers sorting. Many are seniors up there in age.
This year, before I finished my volunteer training and got my certification, but then I fell ill immediately after. My health is better now, so I'm here to sort recyclables, as long as I have the energy I need to give.
I see this place as a kind of senior care center. It helps to extend lives of seniors, giving them ways to contribute to society.
Though the pandemic this year has hindered things a bit, the volunteers continue to show up. And now the recycling station doesn't only sort recyclables, but it also hosts study groups or promotes vegetarianism in the community.
This space is already filled with a lot of heart, so we wanted to begin sutra study groups. We clear out some space and made it more like a cultivation ground. This way, when people come to study group, they can feel the humanitarianism of Tzu Chi.
I was a seafood cuisine chef in the past and killed many sea animals. In the end, I was quite scared of taking so many lives. When I stepped in Tzu Chi, Dharma Master An told me, don't continue to form bad affinity with sentient beings. It was her words that made me become a vegetarian.
We hope to encourage more people to adopt a vegetarian diet. Using the opportunity of the recent events, we can inspire more people to join us. Children can adopt vegetarian diets too. This way we can promote this lifestyle further into the community. After rehearsing for 2 consecutive weekends, young volunteers from Jingsa Books and Cafe had a debut sutra performance at Xindian's Jingsa Hall. This year's theme was Purity at the Source, and these young children learned about recycling and even a vegetarian diet. Here's more. Sorting resources on the stage is not just for show or part of the sign language song, as these youths actually engage in recycling. Wearing a bicycle helmet, Guan Guan follows his family as they do recycling. He has been doing this since the age of 2.5 years old, and his work inspires others.
Since October last year, about once every 2 weeks, my dad and I began to invite some of the young volunteers from Jingsa Books and Cafe to recycling work with my family.
Despite their young age, the influence of family education and the environment is giving many an insight into vegetarianism that surpasses that of adults.
You can love animals and not kill them.
Because we have been eating animals, Master Zheng Yan said the cure for the epidemic is to become a vegetarian. This wave of epidemic will be useless if we are simply afraid of the epidemic. So we should all be vegetarians.
I like to be vegetarian, and I hope everyone can be vegetarian like me.
If you eat the right food, your heart and cardiovascular system will be healthier.
Doctors go on stage to cite scientific evidence that a veggie diet can help health. This gastroenterologist with 10 years of experience, Hong Rei-sung, teaches the secrets to good health.
Mainly the intake of high-quality protein, including beans and good soy products with vitamin B. On the one hand, it is related to our nervous system, and on the other hand, this is closely related to our blood circulation.
From children to senior high school students, a love of life has been passed down through this activity, giving all of us more hope for society. Perth Jings went to Lake Claremont to participate in a tree planting activity with some 1,300 small saplings planted. We leave you with these images. Goodbye.